For tonight, proposal to amend the sewer ordinance, placing the clause stating when the borough is low on funds to be able to transfer funds to cover the bills that are necessary due to the borough. Instead of applying for a TAN loan, which will incur unnecessary costs to the borough. Setting transfer amounts limited, how many transfers can be made, set restrictions on reason for the transfers, set reserve amount to be available for transfers, set a term length of time to replace funds, and we want to change the interest on the loan, short interest on those transfers. Sold property. A review of the property records show that all mortgages have been satisfied and currently there are no mutable liens. Delinquent tax, pending litigations affected the property. From there, we just need to have solds need to deed the property over to the borough. At the time, we need to know the status of the 2018 real estate taxes, as those taxes will be needed to prorate between solds and borough. Also, we would likely need to file an assessment appeal prior to August the 1st deadline to recognize the transfer to the borough and be recognized of having tax exempt status, so that the borough does not get any billing for any future estate taxes while its owner is on record. Sold property transfer to council to consider granting the property to host company 1 as initiated attended. A representative from the governor's office will be present and we are here to address the council. And that's the end of the report for tonight. Do you have anything else?
No, but if they want to finish about it.
Questions on it?
Should we have Jim Rose from the governor's office get up and talk first, and that way we have any questions?
Wait, Mayor. Mr. Chairman, can I have the reports that I requested last week that I wasn't told I couldn't have? Please. And a statement of the bills to be paid for this month. Thank you. Thanks.
Jim, you want to come up?
You know what? I'm doing the same thing. Oh, never mind. Boy, I was
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jim Rose, and I am from the Governor's Center for Local Government Services, which is a part of DCED, Department of Community and Economic Development. And I'm sure you're familiar with DCED. I did not bring many copies of this, but I have 6 copies of just some of the things that we do. My office is located in Pittston. We were previously in Scranton, but we're now in Pittston. And I'm here tonight to talk about one of the programs that we have that I think might be helpful to the borough. It's called the Early Intervention Program. And it's a program that has a very bad name, but it's not a bad program. It's a program that does not mean that that a municipality is necessarily having financial trouble or in jeopardy of it, but it's a program that's designed to help municipalities bring in consultants and take a look at the municipalities working, the departments, the finances, and develop a 5-year plan that the municipality can use or not use that would help them. This program is a program that is a grant program, and generally it's a 50-50 match. However, we're not really sure where Wyoming stands financially, so my guess is that we'd be looking at a better than 50-50 match. And the match is determined by the financial need of municipalities. The program is, again, a program that would provide funding to allow you to choose from a list of contractors that our office would provide, you would then have a contract with, and he would come in and do the work. The work is kind of different work, it's exacting work, and there aren't a lot of organizations that do the work, but we have had a lot of success with this program. It's a program that can have multiple stages. It's a program that's designed so that if there are needs that needs that come through from the review, that those needs can be met with further grant funding at the same match, whatever the match is that the borough would receive. It's a program that is voluntary. It's a program that, if used properly, can really be very helpful. And it's not a program, again, that has, well, I didn't say it, but it doesn't have any strings attached to it, which is unusual. I am not going to say I'm from the government and I'm here to help, but I really am. This is a program that is less severe or less restrictive, if I can say that, than another program we have that is Act 47, and that is a program that's designed for communities that are financially distressed. And it's a program that has goals and growth that would be required of municipalities. So this is a good program. I think this is a program that could be helpful to you. I've looked at some of the financial records, and I'm not really clear on where the borough stands. And we are also the agency, DCED, Center for Local Government Services, is the agency that the borough reports to every year, so that we have some idea of what your financial condition is. And I know that we don't have the last audit I think we have is from 2015. And in looking at your records, I saw that there were 2 years, I believe, that the MMO wasn't paid, and then finally the borough secured a loan to pay the MMO. Those are things that concern us, because those are certainly some things that could indicate that there are financial problems. And we'd like to be able to offer you this program so that you don't have financial problems, so that you can stay running, and Wyoming could be as beautiful as it always has been. I'm a native of West Pittston. I still live in West Pittston, so I'm familiar at least somewhat with Wyoming. I've always loved it here. You have a beautiful borough, and we would like to offer any kind of help that we can. I have some handouts I'm going to give you, and you can please ask me any questions that you might have.
What, if we made a vote on this and we wanted to do the early intervention, what would be the process? Would you look at would you audit our books?
It's not so much an audit, because we don't perform audits, but the consultant would take a look at your books, see where you are, see where there might be some room for improvement, see where things are going really well, and then give you an idea of where you stand.
So this basically is one way of the borough getting a look at our books, that actually the government was kicking a percentage of it in the grant, that we wouldn't have to front the whole thing.
And it wouldn't just be your books, Mary, it would also be the operations of the departments that you have in the borough. They would have somebody who would look at the police force, which I would imagine is the largest part of your budget. It usually is, at least in boroughs.
Actually, I've been requesting the budget for quite some time now, and I still haven't gotten a copy of it. Cameron, you get those emails?
The budget, we
The police
have
budget.
one, we don't, it's on the regular budget that you did get, that we all voted on at the meeting.
So when I asked Commissioner Flanagan for the budget, because it's part of his daily duty, or his job description to do a police budget, and he deferred to you, and you sent numerous requests for a copy of the police budget, so you're saying there is no police budget?
It's all incorporated in one budget. The
So you-
police department, the DPW, everything is on that budget.
So it's broken down, that could have been sent to me, that was
It was
not.
given to you at the meeting when it was actually passed in January.
It was not, what you gave me was a profit and loss from the previous year.
No, that was actually the budget that we.
So the
there
budget was the
everybody got a
profit and loss
budget.
from the previous year?
No, the budget is actually an Excel spreadsheet with everything on it.
Mike, were you aware of that? That we don't have a police when I asked you for the budget, you said you would ask Tamara for it because she's the one who puts it together. So therefore, I'm asking, were you aware that we don't have a separate police budget?
We have a general budget, police has line items in that budget, that's the way I understand it.
So when I asked for the budget from you,
I don't have a copy.
okay, and you're the police commissioner in charge of the police force? Okay.
Could we get a spreadsheet of what he's asking for? A breakdown of,
Budget items for the police department. So you know where you stand on a, I mean, if we don't have a police budget to know where you're gonna stand on the day-to-day activities, how do we know where we stand? Like, for instance, the governor's office is here today because we have no idea. Our borough hasn't even gotten the results from our 2016 audit yet. I mean, it's very concerning when you have the room packed of residents who obviously wanna know what's going on with the financial status of our borough. If we have Jim Rose come in and talk to council, the only one asking questions is me and Mike so far, and we're the ones who met with him. I mean, are you guys aware of what's going on? Do you want to vote on, do you want to consider this?
Mr. Logan, you have been a councilman for 12 years now,
yes.
okay? And those 12 years, you have gone along with everything that we have done here in council. You have
Not
only
everything.
voted,
Yes,
yeah, you
Not
voted against the
Yes,
sewer
you're right.
I
fund.
have no number.
Yes, you have.
But, you know, you keep bringing up corruption and all this stuff.
I never brought up any
You have
corruption. I
been
never
a
brought up
member
any
for 12
corruption.
years. You have never asked for
Chief,
one piece of paper or one report in 12 years until January.
I trusted everybody.
Because everything was always right in front of you. I have given,
No.
I have given the actual, like, what is taken out, what is put in. It is actually a copy of the checkbook register at every single meeting. It has been at this table and passed around and such. But
Councilman
now all
Schwartz,
of a
you just
sudden-
asked for something that you asked for that wasn't given to you, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mike Beloga, you asked for something the other day and it wasn't given to you, correct?
It wasn't given to me for 2 weeks, and
Okay.
plus I asked for the sewer fund, and it took 3 months to get it, 3 months.
It did not take.
Yes, it did take 3 months, because Marcella Starr took the original thing. You know what she told me? Go see Chuck Delaware. Boy, that was real nice.
She was the treasurer. She doesn't have access.
Okay,
to
but she should
data.
have sent you an email, because I didn't have your email. And then she had my wrong email address for 3 years.
Yeah, send it to some kid in a different country, I don't know.
Even though I sent it 10 times that my email address is this.
But my question is this, you guys heard from Jim Rose. He obviously has a plan where we'll have our books looked at, because every resident here is concerned with where our books are right now.
We get our books looked
Our books
at
are
by
open.
an
Books are open to
honor,
everybody.
They're not open to everybody. He couldn't even get a list of bills
Come to the
paid.
office and request anything.
Our own councilman, Joe Skolsky, had to request it, and he was denied.
You were asked a question.
My question is to council. Council, you heard Jim Rose speak. Are you on board with allowing him and moving forward with this process?
I think that we should take a look at it. I think that.
What's there to look at?
Why don't you wait until a question gets answered and quit interrupting?
Okay.
Okay?
I'm
Why don't you
looking
conduct
forward to your
yourself
question.
properly?
Okay. Coming from you, who
I think-
basically berated a member of our society a couple meetings ago, we'll let that go.
Sure. He's speaking.
Relax.
Okay,
I'm conducting.
I think,
Chet, you'll get your turn too.
I think that Mr. Rose and Tamara should meet. I think that would be I think that's a good start.
Here's our issue, and I'm not sure that Mr. Beloga or Mr. Dominic understands the exact, how borough finances actually even work. What ends up happening?
You guys are still on the sewer fund. You understand how our finances work.
Excuse me.
You take that
You guys are taking money from the
Joe,
show.
take it.
As the meeting goes
Okay.
on.
Get your lawyers ready, buddy, because I know you're already trying to.
What
Is
is-
council aware, is everyone in this room aware that Councilman Beloga and myself have been served paperwork of a lawsuit, pending lawsuit?
Please, in the audience.
He asked the, he asked the question, I'm not aware. I would like to know.
Apparently, Councilman Beloga and myself are giving defaming comments, which by asking the truth is not defamation.
No, actually, I have those with me, so we'll deal with that in a minute. But I apologize to you. What our issue is here is obviously the only money that the borough receives is the residents paying their property taxes, the residents paying their earned income tax. That's what we depend on. In the society that we're in now, people don't run in and pay rebate taxes anymore. They have other bills, they have problems in their lives, so they hang on to it. Well, while they're hanging on to it, we're hanging on to bills and stuff because we're not getting the income in. So our other option would be in those months that every borough has an issue until the tax money starts really coming in, is to take a TAN note. Now, a TAN note is thousands of dollars in attorney fees and with DCD trying to get everything approved, and then it's interest and everything till we can pay it back. Now, borrowing from one fund to the other and putting it back within a month or two is an easier fix rather than actually what we were told by our auditor. The only fix that we have, because the only bills that we really have are payroll, insurance, utilities. Those are our biggest bills. We don't go buy equipment, we're not buying stuff that we don't need. So I've had many talks with her and with DCD on what we could do to improve that. But now that we're into June and our tax money's coming in, now we have like $50,000 in the general fund, and now it'll keep growing until you get till December, and then every borough doesn't have money again until June. So we can either raise your income tax like every other town is doing, like Pittston just changed it to 2%.
You can't do that, though. You're not home rule, right?
Yeah, you can't.
Right, but I'm saying even our
There's
property
trouble.
taxes, we haven't raised our property taxes
What
in
happened
12
to the
years.
sanitation fees?
Please, we're talking, you're not,
The sanitation fees pay the sanitation, and
There's
most
no money
residents
made on
don't pay, so we're also in that respect. But
Oh, it's
the
washed.
problem is that, you know, we have to get through those months. So if this program will help us, great. The other thing is, we have money sitting in our sanitation account and in our sewer fund that we're not using through those months. That could also get us through as a temporary loan that's free, and the residents aren't paying a dime. We don't have to raise taxes. We don't have to do anything.
But basically, by using that money as a slush fund to pay other bills during a certain time, it almost is like you're raising taxes, because you're charging every resident here a $200 fee
But we need
to
that
do
money.
that, but we don't. We did it prior, other boroughs do it. Jim Rose, does other boroughs, do they take TANs out?
Yes.
Yes, it's very commonplace for a borough to take out TAN, right? Instead of deceiving the public with an ordinance that says you're only going to use sewer money for one thing, and then using it,
Taking TANs out is relatively common.
yes.
But it costs the borough money.
There is a charge, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
yes.
And there's also a charge to doing what's right for the residents of the borough who want
But
honesty,
who's gonna
integrity,
pay
and
for that?
respect.
And if we could back up to the original question, the original issue was, could we provide you with something that might help? And the answer is yes. I mean,
That would be great.
I wish I knew what they were, what kind of recommendations we would have, but I don't know what they are. We
I'd be
need somebody to
happy
just
to-
come in and work with you,
Okay.
and
I spoke to, matter of fact, and he sent me all of our audits saying everything was good with DCED and all that, but I talked to Michael Williams, and I explained what our issues were and stuff, and I wasn't given this program through the email, like I didn't know anything about it, but I will be more than happy to work with you and give you whatever you need.
okay, that works.
But that's our problem. We just need to get through from like December to like probably the end of May, when our tax money is all, and then we're good for the rest of the year. It's not a problem.
I
It's
think the
just that
first
little
50,000 was taken out in October, correct?
bit- No,
Yes.
it was actually taken out in November. And that's when we start getting slow on there's no more money. After about August, there's no more money coming in for the general fund.
What did
So
do
then we just
what
kind
did
of
we
work
do
with it.
before we got a sore fund?
We used to get borrowed from the sanitation. We have always borrowed from somewhere.
Yes, we have.
Yes, we have.
Doesn't make it right.
But
It doesn't make
it's
it
a-
right at all.
It's
It's deceiving to the public.
tax-free. How is it? Because it's always going back to that account.
The only time it went back is when it was brought to our attention.
No, it was back before you even brought it.
So
It was
let me
on that
explain
paper.
something. We borrowed 50, we borrowed another 80 to pay back the original 50. That's not paying it back in a month.
No, we didn't. We
You
borrowed
borrowed
50
50,
and then we borrowed 80.
and then borrowed
I
80 and
put
paid
it
back 50.
No, I didn't pay it back from that. I paid it back from the real estate tax
You
money
didn't have
that we
any
got.
authority to do that.
How can you operate without money?
You didn't have any authority because it's an ordinance.
How can you
And
operate
they have
without
to
money?
have a vote on it to do it.
Yeah.
Why wasn't
That's all. Why didn't we?
Because
And how come we
I
didn't
did
know?
consult our auditor and I did not have any knowledge of.
The ordinance?
No, I don't have those ordinances. They are not,
You were a borough manager when they signed off on that ordinance though, correct?
yes.
Okay. So you were aware of the ordinance?
Yes, and I was
Okay.
told that as long as the money went back into the fund and we weren't doing a sewer project at the moment, the money had to be spent on sewer. So it did. It was a temporary thing until it went back.
Who told you that?
I had our auditor and not Shannon, but I had discussed it with our solicitor at the time.
Now that, you weren't in the last executive group. We were told that that wasn't accurate.
Well, the auditor would be more than happy. She had the conversation with me, and she will be more than happy to tell anyone that we did have that conversation.
Yeah, she's supposed to be getting back to us because we'll have the 2016 audit in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. And the problem that our audits are behind is not a problem that is current. It was from a problem in 2007, 8, and 9. So we were catching up, and that's what our problem has been. But now we're just getting done with 16, we already started 17, so that we can finally be up to date. But that was prior me, and there was an issue with the prior borough manager, the computer, and we had to recreate 8 and 9.
My primary reason for requesting to come and address all of you tonight is that I did notice there are 11 criteria for Act 47. And Act 47 is, City of Scranton is in Act 47, Hazelton is in Act 47. It's a very restrictive program that we offer, and you meet 2 of those criteria. So I wanted to make sure that we offered you this program so that you can address at least those 2 criteria and make sure that there aren't other problems lurking underneath the surface. And that was the whole rationale for coming here. I think that this would be a good opportunity for the borough, and I'd be perfectly happy to sit down with any one of you. I know I can't sit down with more than like 2 of you at a time, but if anybody wanted to talk 2-on-1, that would be fine, okay? And certainly I'd be more than willing to just sit down with the manager and explain all of this. Did you get one of the handouts? Did I have enough to make it around? Okay.
So in the past, council discussed bringing in someone to basically look at our books. We all agreed to that, correct? Does everyone remember that? So if we have someone from the governor's office who's willing to do it, pick up 50%, possibly up to what, 80% of the tab, why on earth aren't we jumping at, at the opportunity to have him come in? Borough manager said she's willing to work with him, all you guys want to hear it, so why don't we vote right now and have this process in place? I mean, it makes no sense otherwise.
I have no problem with that. We go through and how we have it set up here is our clerk takes in the money.
Right.
We don't even accept cash, but she takes in all the checks and stuff. The treasurer comes and actually checks everything before she takes it to the bank. Then that deposit slip just comes to me, I actually put it in, and then somebody else actually reconciles it. Then we have a professional auditor come in, and she requests every check,
Right.
every cancel check, everything. Then it goes to DCED, and they look over her audit and make sure that she's correct, and then they approve it. So I mean...
The only problem is that the last audit we have on file is from 15.
Right, and we'll
So
have
there are
16
2
also.
years, 2.5 years at this
I
point.
can give you though, like, I can give you everything
Okay.
that I give her, so that way we can sit down and actually.
When's
look
the
at
best
everything.
time to call you? We could either meet
I-
here or in my office in
Absolutely,
Pittsburgh.
I will give you my cell phone number.
Okay.
And then you can call me at any time, and I will make the opportunity to
Very
sit
good.
down with you, okay?
Do many of you have any
So
questions?
you guys gonna vote on it?
I'm probably gonna have a lot of questions. We're making like a decision on the meeting and
It's fine.
Well, I mean, we can make a motion during the meeting. We had Jim Rose come all the way to give us, a presentation. Everyone seems here to be on board with having our books looked at. I don't see where it's a loss. If we're gonna pay someone to come in and do it, why wouldn't we ask, or we have the opportunity to have someone pick up half the tab on 80%? Seems like a no-brainer. I mean, I'm sure the residents would like to save 50 to 80% on the cost
Before
of
it
having
gets
their
to the
books.
point where you have to go.
I mean, we can't just let this keep going on and on and on. If we have someone willing to do it, it needs
All
to
right,
be done.
of course.
Okay, all right, no problem.
All right,
All right,
thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, hopefully someone will make a motion, and we'll find out at the meeting if they vote to have you come on board.
Okay,
Thank you, appreciate your time.
thank you.
Does anyone else work session, because I'd like to call up Commissioner Flanagan to go over a couple things.
I have a few things, actually. First of all, you asked why or the audience asked why I have a lawsuit pending. And I just want to, which most of the people here who obviously are aware of Mr. Dominic's mayor page on Facebook.
Guys, just before we go any further, since the borough is also named as a potential litigant, litigation is an executive session topic, so we can't get into the specifics of.
This is just some things that I just feel that council and the public need to know what is, why.
Just if Shannon tells you.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, because if the borough, it's one thing about personal,
Right, I just have a question for you,
But-
and it kind of just ties into this.
but we have to, I don't want everybody going off on a discussion when it's a situation where the borough has to defend against potential litigation and.
Right, no, it's a personal, I just want to ask, if you were supposed to be a professional and a leader, and how can the police get respect when their leader doesn't show respect? And how can council or anyone work with you when
Please.
we have,
I have some
we have
comment on this too.
we have these hooligans on council, and one should frankly be in a.
Whoa, back up 1 second, because she's reading quotes that are not from me.
But they're
So
on
what
your
she's
page.
doing
Joe,
is
Joe,
being
that's-
deceitful
Joe,
again.
you're out of order.
I'm not out of order. You're out. Don't tell me I'm out of order when she's reading stuff like I wrote it.
When you were reading it, okay, let me finish.
No, start the right way. I did not, before you say anything, my Facebook page is read by probably most of the people in this room, okay? Do we agree most people check on that? Of what is actually getting done in our borough. And you're gonna come in here and you're gonna nitpick and say what you want. Listen, everything I put on Facebook is either a link to a WNEP article, that there was one the other day, there was a
Right,
link
and I'm an
to a
employee.
citizen's voice, there was a link to Times Leader. They were all links or facts. I'm not making stuff up. I'm not hiding behind anything.
but
So if you're gonna sit
I have a
here
question.
and read quotes that I didn't
I have a
write,
question.
be crystal clear who you're writing them
I
before you
have
get
a
yourself a
question.
lawsuit.
No, I
Okay,
have a
wait,
question.
guys, just please, like, if we could go one at a time, so
Yes.
that everybody can have their opportunity to talk.
Be clear though, that's not my
No,
right.
I
Roseanne
wasn't
has,
reading that.
has
We'll start
the, Roseanne has the job of having to take minutes and keep track. And
Okay.
it's very hard to do when everybody's yelling over each
I have a
other,
question.
just
You're
one at a time.
allowing these posts to stay on your page, okay? So what respect, as a leader, you should be deleting these comments.
So I should be infringing on someone's First Amendment right.
These people aren't even real. Who is Janine
I
Edwards?
have no idea.
Right. We kind of do. And these are fake profile pages.
Yeah, who is it?
And these hooligans on council.
So this
and
is
one
from someone that-
Yes,
All right,
this is
so
someone-
please,
yes,
you can
I
have
just
one.
said that.
You're out.
And one should
I
frankly
run
be in
this
the
meeting,
home.
ladies and gentlemen.
The other in
Why are we even listening to this at a council meeting?
Because this is about the council meeting. This is why the council meeting lasts 3 hours.
You're only
And
coming
the
2
other
meetings
has
in
a
7
Please,
days.
no offer in the public, please.
CPA on Facebook.
Officer, anybody out of burst, take them out of the building, will you please? Yes, I'm not going to. There's only one person who holds this meeting, it's me. I hold the meeting, no one else.
And here's another one. Some people are just way too
Again,
much.
say it's not for me,
I
to be
said
clear.
another person.
Okay, so it's
Some
not me that you're
people are
referring to.
just way too much liquored up. I hear that host company number 2 caused so many people to be alcoholics and methodize. Well, council would know, right?
I didn't understand that.
Here's
I
another
don't read,
one.
by the way, I don't read all these
I
posts
know.
because everyone puts so many
Well,
up.
some of them
I
you like.
appreciate it, but I don't get a chance to read all of them and
Some of
respond.
them you
I
like.
appreciate it.
You
Joe,
like, your family likes.
Show me one where I liked it. Show me one where I like something.
These
Where's the proof?
people,
Show me.
these
Joe.
people will
Exactly.
be in the
Lies.
past and hopefully in jail soon, and the others will be 6 feet under from drinking themselves to death.
But the
Now,
mayor
here's
is
our police.
responsible.
Here's the police. 2 can't run 25 feet without dropping over dead. Hey, it's called go to the gym and work out and go on a diet. People in Wyoming are laughing at the police. That are on duty now. And the other half look like they're 13 years old. No normal police officer from this area. See you around, Fatty Flanagan. Goebbels and Himmler are running the police force. What a freaking joke. Yes, it does. Let me finish.
let her speak for a
You
piece.
can talk more if you come to the
Let
meetings
the mayor
all the time.
speak his piece,
Read
please.
my
Be
letter.
quiet.
Okay, everybody here gives time to talk,
Yeah, they
okay?
come to all the meetings.
What a freaking joke. Goebbels was a fat cow, wasn't he? And then about my health, which I gave you a paper explaining since, you know, I didn't want you to put a right to know request in for my health information, so I gave it to you. That's why I don't come to these meetings. She states she has a terminal illness, so why doesn't she step down and take care of it? She's been terminal for years. When is she going to die?
Again, these are not from me.
Yes,
Just to
she
be
does
clear.
have cancer.
They're not from me.
She didn't shave her head and
How's it
tell
my
everyone
fault,
she has
Jeff?
cancer to get money for a disease she never had. The fire chief in West Wyoming. West Wyoming should be called Granteville. There are so many grantees, they reproduce like freaking rabbits. I could go on all night, but the problem is.
I would like to thank you for visiting my village.
This is adult
This is
bullying.
a council meeting.
This is adult, this is adult. This is a mayor page, a borough of Wyoming.
You want to
mayor
talk about
page.
Facebook pages?
cares?
Yeah, let's
So,
talk about your Facebook page. Your Facebook page.
Okay, this is getting out of hand.
Oh, now it's out of hand?
It does.
and by the way,
It was out of hand when it started.
so.
Prove it.
thanks.
Let's forget about
I do that.
Facebook. Let's
It wasn't my
talk
page.
about
But the point is.
Guys, this is smoke and mirrors to take the attention away from recent findings.
How would you like it if somebody started a Facebook page at your work and started putting how you.
How is it my fault what
your job?
people post?
Because it's your page.
I don't check it all the time.
We don't allow people to page on the Wyoming, on the post on the Wyoming.
The post in the Wyoming Borough page.
Out of order.
The mandatory thing is the police department
You
and
let
things
people
like
post.
that.
And actually, I was notified.
Let's forget about
Speaking,
Facebook.
no, wait.
No more stuff. Joe.
And you deleted their post and contacted me and said, why was it deleted? I said, I don't have access.
Keep him quiet, she talking.
Someone put a post up on the Wyoming Borough Facebook page that they were complaining about something. It was immediately deleted. The person contacts me and says, why was it deleted? I said, I have no idea.
You didn't like it.
That's exactly what it was.
Transparency.
There's no transparency. And I'm not going to infringe on someone's First Amendment right to write something when I'm not responsible for their writing.
Put down the police department.
It's like transparent money, it's real transparent.
I have a comment for you.
Mike, the meeting's starting at 7:30. Let's start.
Addressing her, but she asked me.
Wyoming Borough Council. Order at 7:30.
Hold on a second here.
Will you please stand?
I'm
Take the
asking-
flag.
We
want to hear what Mr. Beloga has to say. We want to hear him. No.
It's 7:30.
It
That's our
doesn't
issue
matter. You
start.
were at last meeting. Let him speak.
Last week was either.
7:28.
Tamara spoke, let him speak.
Situation down.
Speak.
All right. You said to me, why didn't I ever question anything in 12 years, right?
Mhm.
Back in October, I got a call from the state police criminal investigation officer. Say he was questioning me about wrongdoing in the borough. That's when I started questioning about all these
You waited 12 years.
all the things I'm asking for. I asked for this sort of fund, I asked for a lot of things. And finally, I'm starting to get them. Maybe if I got them sooner, maybe this wouldn't be as much of a question.
But Mike, they've been on the table every council meeting for the
All
past 10
right,
years.
but I trusted you, but this,
Well, trusting me and actually taking the time to do your job and read them are two different things.
okay, maybe that's my fault. But it wasn't made aware to me, that there might be something wrong, that I said, I better address this, when the state police had called me back in October and said that there's an ongoing criminal investigation. And so that's the reason why I'm asking these questions. It's not against you. If it was him, I'd be asking about him. If it was him, I'd be asking about him. That's all. And Mr. Flanagan there, there was a raid a couple of weeks ago, I guess.
Right after the
We
last
want to
one.
ask him a couple of questions. Is that like unreasonable?
No, but you didn't ask me questions about that.
Yes, I did.
No, you
I
never
have
did.
the email.
You never asked me anything when everything happened over at my house. You never, ever, every person on this council wanted to sit down and talk to me and
Because you
actually get
wouldn't
the
want
story.
to talk to me
You did
because
not.
I didn't support Bob Boyd.
That is not true.
None of these people would talk to me. And even Bob Boyd wouldn't even shake my hand. I'm thinking, wait.
Because you turned him in for actually putting something on his flyer that he was supporting you, not you supporting him.
Against my will. Because he had asked me, hey, do you want to join this ticket? I said, no, don't put my name on anything. I don't want anything to do with it.
Which he
That was-
said he was supporting council, not
But
you were
but
supporting
that,
him.
but that, well, but then he took it
You
off.
called the state
But-
police?
But then he took it off. I didn't call the state police.
Well, that's what they called him.
They called me.
Okay.
That's your son.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll conduct our regular board meeting. Running Borough Council meeting for June 11, 2018, will now come to order. Please stand, face the flag of our country, and recite the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, please. Roll call.
Mr. Stephen Alaco,
Present.
Mr. Frank Burek,
Present.
Mr. Michael Beloga,
President.
Mr. Michael Flynn,
Here.
Mrs. Diane Smiles, Mr. Joseph Schultz,
Here.
Attorney Shannon Craig Letsansky, Mayor Joseph Don.
Present.
Thank you. Thank you, President. Approve the minutes of May 2018 meeting are available for review at the Borough Office. We need a motion to.
I'll make that
Mr.
motion,
Flynn
Mr. Chairman.
and Mr. Eric. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Nays, ayes have it, so moved. Reports of the Police Commissioner, Street Commissioner, and Code Enforcing Officer for the month of May 2018 have been submitted and placed on file for public inspection. Administration and financing grants, Mr. Schultz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No report tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. Emergency Service, Police and Fire Department, Mrs. Smiles.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, no report at this time.
Thank you, Mrs. Smiles. Health and Sanitation, Recycling and Solid Waste, Mr. Urick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, there's no report.
Thank you, Mr. Urick. Personnel, Mr. Flynn.
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn. Public Property, Building and Recreation, Chairman, Mr. Urick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There is no report, other than we are exploring getting a grant for the parks.
Thank you, Mr. Urick. I'd like to make a comment. I'd like to thank Wyoming VFW for donating the flags on Wyoming Avenue for the last 20 years. Public Properties, Borough Building and Recreation, Mr. Yurick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, there's no report.
Thank you, Mr. Yurick. Street, sewers, and public waste, Mr. Yurick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, there's no report.
Thank you, Mr. Yurick. Zoning and planning, Mr. Beloga.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The only thing I have is the Conservation District is going to be spraying for mosquitoes in Wyoming tonight, maybe tomorrow night, so it's going to be in West Wyoming, so that's really the only, not even sure if it's a zoning issue, but figured I'd mention.
There is quite a bit of mosquitoes going around now, I know that for a fact.
That's my remark.
Thank you. The report, a motion we made to approve Michelle Matty Agarovich to have a block party June 29, 2018. Block party be held in the parking lot of Diane Michelle's parking lot in Kelly Napa Auto parking lot. A van will be set up in Donna Michelle's parking lot. Food trucks will be located in Kelly's Napa lot. There's an opportunity for new businesses in town to showcase what they have and what they offer the borough citizens. That's all I have. So this is the report.
I have nothing to add other than what was reported during the work session regarding the Souls property, and if council wants any amended ordinances drafted, just please let me know what your thoughts are, so I drafted the way you want.
With the property with, on 8th Street,
Yes,
Speak up,
the mortgage has been satisfied, there's no delinquent taxes on record with Northeast Revenue Service, who does the county tax claim. There's no pending litigation or other liens of file with the Pathonetary's office, so the only thing outstanding to check when deeming it is over is to find out the status of the 2018 taxes. And once it came into the borough's hands, we may be required to file an assessment appeal with the tax assessment office for the county to make sure that taxes, tax exempt status is granted so that the borough doesn't get bills.
Thank you. Mayor's report.
Police department responded to just over 300 incidences this month. Outside of that, Officer McGurk saved someone's life down at McDonald's. It was an Archon save, so I'd like to commend him for that. Also, Officer Noble and Commissioner Flanagan did a seminar up in Binghamton, and the people up there liked it enough that they donated $500 to Wyoming, and Commissioner Flanagan has decided to split that 250 and give 250 to the library and 250 to the Little League. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Floor is open to the public. Pat Belanger.
I didn't plan on talking until Mr. Nelawenko made that comment last month about me. I don't go by anybody's script. All I do is read the newspaper, watch the TV, and I see everything going on. Last month at our meeting, I was so upset. That young boy came up to council and wanted to be an Eagle Scout. You did nothing to help him.
He did never approach us the second or third time.
Yes.
Wrong. I was there and I spoke on his behalf. You're lying about that. That's a matter of record. I spoke on his behalf. That's a lie.
And also,
Deface yourself, but do not take a 16-year-old boy down, particularly my son. If you want to have me removed, I'll leave now. But that was wrong to say what you did.
I apologize for the council, Mr. Nelawenko. I'm very sorry, because I know that your son worked hard to try to, with the signs, he provided us with literature with signs, and I'm very sorry.
I know what it takes. know what it takes to be an Eagle Scout. My nephew just went through it, so it's a process. But I have one more question, Mr. Chairman. Do you sign all the important documents, all the important papers?
Yes, I do.
And you're absolutely sure?
Yes, I am.
Could you do me a favor?
I sure will, that's right.
Could you please write your name down for me?
Surely.
I have documentation that someone else forged your signature. And I'm not going to say the person's name, but I do have the papers.
Can I see the document, please?
Sure?
That is my signature. That is my signature.
That's your signature?
Yes, ma'am, that is my signature.
Uh-huh.
Yes, it is. I
Okay.
don't have the C there, my initial name, but I
Yeah.
usually put the C on.
Well, then how come on this one it comes up that way?
Why? I don't know, but this one has my name on it. There's no signature on this.
Oh, no, I know there isn't. I know there
The way they put
isn't.
my name down,
I'm
Stephen,
just
P-E-E-N.
asking the way it
Mine-
is.
My name is P-H-E-N, not D-E-N.
That's right, you should know how to spell your own
I
name.
did it all my life.
If somebody else is signing it, somebody.
Somebody else
Somebody
signs
else
it.
I don't see no signatures on here.
Now,
It
I
was
want you to
listed
take-
on the bottom of the letter.
I want you to take a look at this.
Yes,
Now, look at this up here.
okay.
Okay. Somebody's going around forging your
Well,
signature.
my name's only on the one document, and I have to do
It's
that.
not forged, because there's no signature there.
Right.
Either the secretary or I typed his letters because he doesn't have a computer.
Right, it
So
was
his
you.
name was misspelled,
It was
but
you.
he didn't sign
It's
it.
supposed to be signed
It's
for,
supposed to be
by.
signed
It-
legally. Ask Shannon.
He wasn't.
If you're
sign it.
going to sign a paper with his signature, you have to put on that
Show me where my
paper.
signature's on them other papers.
He could also legally authorize.
Show me my
Right,
signature's
but
on
it's
them.
supposed to
Could we
say.
legally see the
This is
authorization?
my signature right there.
Right,
yes.
right.
Show me where my
Yeah.
signature is on the other
You
paper.
did that.
Yes, I did.
So where's the other signature?
Show me another signature. There's no signature on the other paper.
We're going
That's
by
not my
this.
signature.
I know it
You said I'm
isn't.
signing illegal documents. I am
I
not
never
signing
said
illegal.
you
Yes,
were.
you did.
Your name is signed on it.
Yeah, that's
No,
his
it isn't.
signature.
There's no signature on
It
that,
says
sir.
Stephen Delamarco with the big swoop on the end, just like hers.
That's what the secretary and the borough manager is supposed to do, is type the letters for him and then he signs them. He doesn't type his own
Right.
letters.
Well, how come before, when we were all here, you said that by the time you get checks, it goes from this person to this person to this, and all the way down.
Right.
Roseanne is the only one that does all that and then gives it to you. And last year, if I could be wrong on this, I'm not sure, but last year, didn't the Midway Shopping Center get sold?
Yes, it did.
Okay, Wyoming Borough got money from that.
Yes, it did.
And how much did we get and where did it go?
And we got about $60,000, and that was the year we also had over $85,000 because of the snowstorm. So it hardly even
Well, hold on a second.
paid for
You're
it.
not gonna throw that out there, because that snowstorm in 2017
Yes,
was $50,000, all the bills.
I could show you.
And I could show
sent
you, it
them all
was
into
right
the
from,
state.
listen, I could show you, it's right from the road fund. We didn't have to take from the general.
Yes, we did.
No, we
The
did
road
not.
fund didn't
No,
have
you
50,000.
did
We
not.
only get 60,000
I
out of the
have
road
the, we
fund
have the road fund here. We
Right.
get 87,000 in liquid fuel.
this past year.
That
But
back in
back the year before we did
2017, it was put in there 87,000
Right.
from liquid fuel. Wait a minute, hold on a second. We get 45,000 or 50,000 from the snowstorm. We didn't have to take from the general fund. We have 40,000 left in the road fund, so don't try to
Well,
pull that
Mr.
stuff.
Beloga, I will give you the actual documentation, because I had to fill out paperwork 3 times for the state when they promised to give us the money back, and I had to do a whole
What
payroll
I'm
thing.
trying to say is,
everything.
it was from the road.
But the road, it was not from the road fund.
Yes,
You
it was.
realize,
It was
listen,
from liquid
listen,
fuels in the road fund.
can you listen to me for a minute?
minute,
I
since
am.
you don't, like, get into this. We got $87,000 for the road fund, $28,000 of it is street lighting,
Okay.
okay?
That's immaterial.
It's not immaterial.
Yes, it is.
So now we're
Yes,
down,
it is.
so now we're down to how much?
It's Mike,
Okay,
it's Mike.
then we have our payroll, we also have a truck payment that we pay for the DPW. We have equipment that we have to maintain, we have salt that we have to get. We hardly
Right,
have
but
any
it
money
comes
left
from
in
the
the
road
salt.
fund, it came from the road fund, all that money came from the road fund.
It didn't.
From the liquid fuels, yes it did.
Let's back up a
I
second.
have the road.
Excuse me,
I'll-
let's
I
back
have
up
the
a
road
second.
fund. I should have brought it.
At the last meeting, so right now we're saying that $50,000 for the snow was paid with the $60,000 that we got from the Midway. But yet at the last meeting, I mean, we have it taped, we can review the tape. That was the reason that the money had to be taken out of the sewer fund because the snow hurt us so bad. So
It
what's the
did, because
truth?
it wasn't just $60,000.
So how much was the snowstorm costing
It
us?
was over 80,000, and I have all the papers that I filled out this week, and I had to give
So
it line by
$80,000
line
in
by line.
snow, and you guys were all going around saying that was a victory for you guys during the campaign.
Yeah,
That you
because
took care of
we
the
did
snow
take
for
care of it.
$80,000.
We were one of the only towns that our streets were actually
All I'm
plowed
saying
and done.
is the road fund says it was 50,000, they had 87,000 in the
It was
account.
$50,000 for the whole thing, not just that
I know,
snowstorm.
yeah, I did, I
Right.
looked at the whole year.
Right.
And it was 45,000, 48,000, there's a couple thousand here and there. But it was paid for by the liquid fuels that we get, and we didn't have to dip into the general
We
fund.
did have to,
No, we
and I
did
can
not.
show you where we did.
did not.
Did you fill out all the grants that we tried to get that money back?
No.
Did you help with that? What have you helped with? Have you ever helped with the budget? Have you ever helped with anything on your committee in 12 years? Have you?
Has anyone else on
I'm
council
asking
helped
you
with
a
the budget?
question.
Yes.
I'm
You helped with the
asking you a
budget?
question.
Okay.
I'm asking you a question.
My
Have you
committee,
ever worked on anything other than coming to the meeting?
my committee was taken away, and zoning was sent
In-
down, hold on.
in 12
Zoning
years.
was sent
You're still
down.
answering my question.
Zoning was sent down to Luzerne County. Luzerne County does our zoning now.
But in 12 years, have you ever come and helped with anything? In 12 years?
I did, sure.
What? What? On what? Have you ever put your input into the budget? Have you ever put your input into what we should do when we have
Yes.
problems in the executive
Yes.
session? No.
Yes, because we get the
You've
budget
come
like
here-
a day before
Have you
the
ever
meeting.
given anything for the agenda in 12 years?
I gave a lot for the agenda, but they didn't want to put it on there.
Just lately,
That's
not in
okay.
12 years. You even.
I
you
would
even
like to
commented.
say thank you to the day shift and the afternoon shift police department, because I take notice, they're up here where the children get the bus, and they are pulling over an awful lot of speeders. And I would like to say thank you. And Mayor Joe.
Mrs. Collins, your time is up.
Is anything going on with evangelism on East
Tom
Street?
Collins?
With the park?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're looking into it, it's moving along.
Mr. Beloved, can I approach you 1 minute before I
Yes.
ask my question? Because I've asked this question several times before. What does it show for picnic there for everybody? Thanks. I've asked before, why on the financial statement that is available to the public, on the payment column, is there only an X for all of the borough employees?
Because they all get direct deposit, which then turns around, and if you go down further, it's a total amount of what comes out.
Well,
That is the only way that it prints out.
Well, how does the, as residents, we should know what the borough is spending on, for the employees?
But it is, that amount is there, it's not
It's
broken
no-
down
it's
by
not there, it's-
individual. It's not broken down by individual, because they all have individual, and
Well, then we
that
should-
is, that is something that either a right to know request, and we're able to give
No,
the
that's-
person's name and
Why,
the person's.
why does every business organization show all of their deposits and withdrawals? The borough's
We're
exempt?
only allowed to give the gross pay. We can't give out what anybody takes out in their taxes or anything, and that would be their net pay. So the amount is on there, that what we are spending, but it is not giving you the exact amounts for each individual person.
Okay, I got another question for you. You do collect the salary from the borough, right?
Yes.
Does Smith Accounting get paid by the borough?
No,
Pardon me?
no,
They don't?
No.
Why are there bills for Smith Accounting in the past?
there was one.
There was
And that was a reimbursement.
That was an ethics violation. You profited from the borough and
No, it was a reimbursement. You didn't even ask what it was for. It's a reimbursement.
Why should I have to ask? It should be in there.
It is, it says it was a
Yeah, X,
reimbursement.
just like the salary's
It's not an
X.
It's reimbursement.
We never show any utility bills.
They're all on there. Every utility bill is on there.
I've
Right,
taken-
right,
I've taken-
UGI.
I think, yeah, now they are since Roseanne's
They
doing
always
it.
been.
No, they weren't.
Roseanne isn't doing
Mr.
it.
Mayor,
Roseanne
I've
isn't
sent
doing
you
it.
some
I
of
am
them.
still doing it.
have there been utility bills or anything on them?
The pictures that you've shown me had X's. For, I don't know if it was for utility bills, but I know it was for the pay that was X's.
I requested to get utility bills.
Yeah.
When I got appointed to council, there was no utility bills. When I was on
You
12
asked-
years ago, we used to get utility bills
You did
in our
ask,
report.
you did ask me for the bills paid. I give this, which is not only the bills paid, it's actually all the deposits that come in, everything.
They should be all broken
You asked
down.
that you didn't want it.
Right, but we
So
should
I
have got
changed
them,
it instantly.
and that's right, but we should have been getting them all along.
But I felt that you guys getting
I thought we
the
got them all. You
actual
said we got them
check.
all.
It
You
is.
said you told me we
All right,
got them all.
since my time is going to be up, I got one other thing on this
You have a
ethics.
check register.
We didn't get
That's
them
all
all.
right. No. On this ethics thing. You are all aware of the Ethics Act, correct? That anyone that draws a borough salary, if they're employed by a company, that we can't do business with that company.
We didn't do business with the company.
16 is the only year.
You're buying us a new one.
Where do we buy our tires?
If there's the money.
Where do we buy tires?
Where did we buy tires? Oh, the Post Tire, McCarthy Tire, what else we have?
What's the second one?
What?
The second one.
McCarthy? Yeah, we buy McCarthy, we
All
buy.
right, okay, I don't have to say anymore.
Everybody else?
Gail,
Thank you, good evening. May we go back to the amendment to the sewer ordinance? Is this now being posted before it's voted on, or is this now in place as part of the ordinance?
It hasn't even been drafted yet.
Okay,
It's
because
just the first.
this is
coming
just
up
the-
for discussion.
Okay, this is the discussion, this is not the actual ordinance.
Correct.
Will the actual ordinance set monetary limits? The number of transfers to be made? Who's going to be overseeing these transfers?
That's up to council to decide how they want it worded.
I would think it would be a good idea to have some oversight. I would think it would be a good idea to have transparency. That word is so overused, but we do need to know. Now, the other thing I was wondering,
And I'm sorry for interrupting.
Of course.
All transfers would have to be voted on by council, no matter what the
Okay.
parameters were.
so that would be done in a
anything.
public meeting before the check is cut. Is that correct?
Correct,
That would be the
correct. And the ordinance doesn't need to be.
that
amended to
wouldn't
reflect that.
necessarily have to spell that out. Now, since I've lived in the borough a long time, I never felt the need to come to borough meetings. I've found it very enlightening to come, and I will probably continue to come, not to be annoying, but to observe government in action. I found that once when I served on a jury, it was very, very enlightening to see how things were done in the judicial. And seeing the things that are done here, I think we have room for improvement. I think this is a first step. Now, my other question is, since the first meeting I came to, there were no agendas. I'd like to say I'm very happy to see that agendas are being provided in adequate numbers, and I thank you for that. I would also like to see a printout of the bills that are paid on a monthly basis, since that is part of the public knowledge. I mean, it could be a simple spreadsheet. We paid this, the electric, the gas, this is what we paid on vehicle maintenance. I would think every department would have under the general budget, a sub-budget that should be available. And I really think it's important because there's so many questions, there's so many doubts on things going on in the borough that the more information that's made available to us, the voters, who put you in place to take care of the important borough matters, I think you would want to have this information available. I guess I also want to ask, is the mayor now able to get information without doing a Freedom of Information Act request? As a duly elected borough exemplifies all of you, with the exception, of course, our borough manager and, of course, the solicitor.
I couldn't even get it, so I don't know.
Well,
For some reason, I couldn't even get a copy. I had to get told I
Well,
could
this
get
is
a
why
copy.
I'm asking, because I'm sitting here just observing, and you had to ask for something that you should have had before this meeting, not minutes before the meeting starts. So there's still inequities on who gets what information. And I don't think Wyoming wants, I know you want my time, but whatever. You know, I'm the only one up here, there are only 3 people.
You're doing a good job, thank you.
Well, jokingly a number of years ago, I told Bob DiPietro, is that
Yes.
right? He was mayor. I came to my only meeting at that time about the kids skateboarding and coming in cars. And he made some comment, and I told him that this would be my new hobby. I don't want you to think it's my new hobby. I do it as a concerned citizen. And if you want to do your jobs well, then you need to get your acts together somewhat, don't you think?
Yes, Miles?
Facebook posts have nothing to do with the First Amendment. That's a ridiculous notion. Facebook posts are not protected by the First Amendment. In fact, owners of personal Facebook pages have the right and, let's say, the obligation to block false, fake accounts, and they should have the obligation to delete posts which defame people. No First Amendment right, zero. The owner of the page has total control over it, can let posts there or take them down. Like, for example, body shaming people, fake accounts, every one of them, calling them drunks. And the worst of all was accusing these men of being sexual predators on a Facebook page, saying they have nothing, Harvey Weinstein has nothing on them. And then if any of these people had a Facebook page and let somebody post stuff like that about him, you'd all be back here criticizing them instead of yelling, who cares? No, blah, blah, blah.
Thank you.
You're right, Dad.
Bobby Brazell?
Sergeant at Arms.
Yeah, so about the speeders getting out there. That's pretty good.
I don't know how to follow those actions. Mr. Chairman, first of all, it was up today. It was up today, and he did mark my sidewalks, so we're making headway.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay. I hope the paint doesn't wear off.
We gotta go through the county on that first.
Pardon me?
You should do a survey of that first before you do anything on it.
Right, I understand, it takes a while. But, a couple quick questions, but Mr. Beloga sort of answered. I was sort of interested in about why we ran out of money last time with borrowing from the sewer fund. But, I guess the solicitor, you said, and Tamara said because of late taxes? Is that-
We mainly scrape by every year, and so does many other boroughs, because we get nothing in. Like, by August, September, we're done. Berkheimer is done giving us our money, and people are done paying their property taxes. So we actually have to just live on what we got until May or June of the next year. So that's.
So that just happens, because you did say, solicitor, you did say there's no delinquent taxes in the town.
On that Sol's property, on just, we were
Oh,
speaking
yeah,
of
no.
that, yeah.
I was
that
gonna say,
possible-
because I've already got that report.
No, just on, we were speaking of that one specific property
And
that was gonna be donated to the
It's a
borough.
problem we all are tight on money, and what ends up happening is people used to run in here and pay their rebate. Now they don't care so much about rebate. Now they're paying it.
So the majority though is
penalty.
because of taxes, property taxes.
Yes, and Berkheimer with the earned income taxes.
Okay.
Okay?
Now, the snow removal, what was that?
It hurt us because, hey, we work on a $1.6 million budget, which has to include all of our insurances, which are very high, like just health insurances, everything. We have to do our street lighting. People don't realize we pay $1,000 a month to rent
I know.
fire hydrants. I mean, there's just so much.
Yep.
We're working on that little budget. We have never wanted to put it on the residents by raising taxes, so we try to get by on what we have. And we're not bankrupt. It all works out in the end. It's just that you have that period when you're not getting paid.
Okay. Now, what was Mr. Beloga saying that you don't even get in that fund for the snow removal? Is that what, do you or don't you?
Liquid fuels comes into the general fund sheet. It's earmarked for the road fund, okay? So we had $87,000 in the road fund when that big snowstorm came. It was $50,000 plus. And we ended up with $42,000 after the snow removal. So, no, we didn't have to take from the general fund for
That
that.
that didn't take away from the 130
I
that
have
had to borrow
to
for the
disagree
general.
with him. All he had was like,
The road
you
fund,
know,
road fund that you gave.
right. He had our actual, like, I printed him off exactly what came in and what went out. Our road fund cannot mix with our general, it's DCED money. It has to stay by itself, and we're only allowed to spend. They give us criteria of how much we can spend on snow removal, how much we can spend on equipment, how much we can spend on each thing, okay? And that's all we can
You
spend.
answered my question. That's exactly what I said.
Right, but we spent more than $50,000,
We
that's what I'm
spent
saying.
$50,000 on that snowstorm.
Not just on that snowstorm, that was on the
And it
whole
was 2,000
entire
Yeah,
year.
but
And winter maintenance isn't just snow removal. Winter maintenance for
We had-
DCED is the
Let's
plow
put
truck,
my-
everything.
Every borough had the same snowstorm.
Please, brother.
Every borough had the same
But our
snowstorm.
road fund never went bankrupt.
Right, because we could only take so much from the road fund. You gotta understand. I go through
I
this
do
with DCED,
understand.
we get audited from DCED every year.
Right.
DCED only lets us spend so much of that money on each item.
Well,
So we
All right,
couldn't take
before
more
my
than
time, can I
50,000.
buy some more of the time back that's getting Now, when is the last time we did have an audit?
15.
Well, 16 is just about done, yes.
So the last
But-
official
but
audit is 15.
DCED, we're done, like we did 16, 17, we're up to date with DCED.
Well, Mr. Rose, what he, proposed, I think he might even go the other state, because I think with all this, who's that, nobody really knows who you're spending, what the money, what fund it's coming out with. I think it'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Now, as far as, excuse me, as far as Mr. Beloga, Council Beloga, how many times with current council, except for the mayor and Joe, you're just on there, how many of you people voted with him?
None.
Thank you. Then you want to know if you wouldn't even listen to him. You wouldn't even listen to him for how many years? The whole bunch. That's why he had no say. I give him credit.
He
Thank
had,
A list of communications received since the last meeting and presented to council. We need approval. The motion made by Mrs. Miles, second by Mr. Schultz. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Nays? Ayes have it, so moved. A list of bills paid, received for payment and presented to council, accepted by a motion made by Mrs. Miles again. Seconded by Mr. Urick. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it, so moved. Unfinished business, we have any? None. Resolutions. Motion to be made to approve a block conducting by Michelle Matty at a Brobridge on June 29th to be held in Donna Michelle's parking lot, Kelly NAFTA Auto Store lot.
I'll make that motion, Mr.
Mr.
Chair.
Herrick,
I'll second.
second by Mike. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Nays? Ayes have it.
I make a motion. I make a motion to suspend Tamara Smith pending the outcome of the state police investigation
There's a motion on the floor
without pay.
made by Mr. Beloga to suspend Tamara Smith.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr.
Doesn't count.
Do we have a vote on it? Let's call for a vote.
Mr. Nalawako?
No.
Mr. Yurk?
No.
Mr. Beloga?
Yes.
Mr. Flynn?
No.
Mrs. Smiles? No. And Mr. Stoltz?
Yes.
4-2, motion denied.
I make
Mr.
a
Chairman, can I make a motion?
Go right ahead.
To make a motion to terminate Tamara Smith effective immediately as Borough Manager and appoint Roseanne Colarusso as Borough Manager.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion to determine
Second.
Tamara Smith, put Roseanne in there. Need a roll call vote?
Mr. Nalawako?
No.
Mr. Yurk?
No.
Mr. Beloga?
Yes.
Mr. Flynn?
No.
Mrs. Smiles? No. Mr. Stoltz?
Yes.
I make a motion.
Motion denied.
I make a motion to suspend Commissioner Flanagan pending the outcome of the investigation of the computer. No accusations are at this time presented or anything, but I think that would be good to suspend him without pay.
We have a motion on the floor to suspend Mr. Flanagan,
I'll second it.
seconded by Mr. Stoltz. Call for roll call?
Mr. Nalawako?
No.
Mr. Yurk?
No.
Mr. Beloga?
Yes.
Mr. Flynn?
No.
Mrs. Smiles? No. Mr. Stoltz?
Yes.
4-2, motion denied.
Shame on all
Another
of you.
motion for the state governor's office to have them come in an early intervention program. I'm not sure exactly what that's called, but I make a motion for them to do that right now.
You heard the motion by Mr. Beloga, do I have a vote on it? Second.
Need a second.
Seconded by Mr. Urick. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it, so moved.
One more motion.
Go ahead.
I make a motion to allow our mayor nominee to get information, like if they ask for budgets, if they ask for whatever he wants to ask for, so he doesn't have to go to the Freedom of Information Act. I make that motion.
Has ever been denied any?
Yes.
If he had to get the Freedom of Information Act,
Without using
Yes, paid for
I'd say he's been denied, wouldn't you?
it. And you're gonna pay $100.
And
He's the only mayor in this town that has to pay for it. None of the previous mayors had to.
Mr. Federica did it.
Actually, correct. They do pay.
Mr. Boyer never did.
No.
Actually,
Mr. DePietro never paid for it. I asked.
How much does that
Mr.
cost the
Federica and
residents?
Mr. DePietro.
Every time we use a right to know, how much does it cost?
between, well, actually, we have bank fees from the last one, that was over $100.
So how much?
We
And it comes,
usually,
depends on the lawyer.
with all of the rights no requests we've been getting, it's a couple $100 a month.
and
How much do you
whose
pay?
money, where does it come out of? Our money, right?
We're having them pay.
Right? I'll second the motion. It shouldn't have to come out of his money when everybody else here.
PSAB
wait. I want to know why. Why? Why? Why don't I get my papers when I was told to come over and get them, and I was told I couldn't? I had to wait for the meeting. Because I know why.
Not my decision.
What?
And who authorized you?
Well, whose decision was it then? We're here.
Whose decision to hold for a councilman?
I rest my case.
I think you should
That's why I
add
did
that
what I
motion.
did.
Motion on the table.
I'll second it.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Nays? Ayes have it, so moved.
Yes.
Thank you, Joe.
We need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Sure.
I'd just like to make one comment in defense of our mayor. In defense of our mayor, I did an online search that the First Amendment does protect our rights on Facebook.
Thank you.
You cannot-
The mayor isn't responsible.
New York Times.
Very good. Okay. What's your word?
You cannot delete posts.
We should be honest, we should read our degrees too.